Hey, what's up guys, AARAVA here, and welcome back to part number 2 of my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. If you did miss the opening episode uploaded yesterday, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. That was the whole admin for the beginning of this entire series, our brand new team on F1 2021, new gen AARAVA Archer Racing. And I've got to say, a massive thank you to you guys for the response on part number 1. Blown out the water. I think at one point we're number 4 on gaming trending on YouTube, which is absolutely insane, and it's so sick to see how hyped you guys are for the series and for a brand new game cycle. But let's delve straight into then the action into part number 2. We've got some admin to do with some HQ events. We've got a personnel department event once again, like we did last episode with Callum Ilott. This time round, again to do with Ilott here, we've got an opportunity coming up to book some time with an ex-driver, Lucas Weber. Oh, Lucas Weber, he may not be a character properly in Breaking Point, but he is a character in the background here in this world of our career mode. On a consultancy basis, we are looking to maybe hire him. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but it's driver racecraft plus 7, and to be fair, I think that's worth it. And how can we not hire Lucas Weber? So we're going to accept that, spend a little bit of money, but we've got to do it. Lucas Weber, oh, that's so sick. I really like that. That's awesome that Cody's have done that little, Easter egg for those of us who played F1 2019 and know that character's name from that story mode. And, people are asking, oh, it's a shame he didn't return along with Devin Butler, because he was a bit of a G back in the day on F1 2019. So, yeah, that's really cool. Lovely little Easter egg there to kick off the episode. So, we've got the activity timeline then ahead of the Spanish Grand Prix. And then we've got a season break as well, because remember, the actual real-life calendar, there were races in between Bahrain and Spain. In the game right now, we have to wait till later on in the year to get a free update to get those new circuits. So in the calendar right now, there is technically a big enough break for there to be a proper season break in the way the system works, the activity timeline. So filled up the activity timeline with as much as we can and what I felt was useful, and then we'll have that season break when we get to it. But right now, we've got over 1,000 R&D points to spend, so we're going to look at upgrading 2 bits of downforce here, because we've got 2 minor upgrades that we've got both discounts on. The rear one, 10% discounts. That's a massive saving of usually what would be about 500 resource points to 431. May not seem like a lot, 100 resource points off, but remember, because of what you guys voted for in part number 1 and part number 0, because we've got that reduced R&D versus the AI, they've got the improved one. We need to try and take every single advantage and discount we can get and use the game mechanics to their fullest, basically, to get ourselves as much discount, as much resource points, as much as everything we can, because we've set the game up to be as difficult as it can be on this side of the game when it comes to kind of managing and building up their team. It's going to take a while, I think, a little bit longer, or a lot longer maybe, than it did in F1 2020, which is kind of a good thing in a way, and obviously what you guys wanted to see. But that means for me, my task is to try and get every advantage I can personally as the one playing this to succeed as much as we can. But we've got another departmental event. This one's from durability though, so this is a bit different. Durability department appears to have overestimated its factory budget, so we have some leftover funds to allocate as we like. Should we think about taking these funds so we can either upgrade and get take an upgrade and get a discount based on a gearbox, improved materials, or we can just take hard cash. We're going to go for the discount on the upgrade, because I'm not going to quite yet spend resource points on that upgrade specifically on the gearbox there, but that discount should stay, I think, permanently, or at least temporarily enough where I feel like we're going to purchase it soon. At the moment, our durability department, the morale's a bit low because we've not really focused too much on them, and unfortunately, we've got a development failure, you can see, on the major chassis weight reduction we purchased. So now we have to repurchase that for 500 resource points. So already I'm getting a little bit frustrated, and it's already becoming difficult. We're having to, now save up. I can't buy that gearbox that we just got discounted. I maybe was going to. We just bought 2 error updates, but now we've got to try and wait till we get over 500 resource points to repurchase that weight reduction upgrade, which is half price now since it failed. And we've got another event that's come up from the chassis department, actually, ironically, that's come up here. So the team have requested Ilott's presence at recurring meetings, but it conflicts with what he's got. Obviously, he's got a busy schedule. We know, but it will be, helpful for them. So we can either agree, and the chassis department morale goes up by 20%, but it's -7 on Ilott's experience, and so that that's going to affect how much R&D he earns in the practice sessions, for example. Or we can decline the offer, and that's going to be minus 20 on the chassis morale, but plus 7 on the driver experience. That will boost his R&D. Now, the thing is, with the activity timeline, I actually did an event that boosted the morale of the chassis department, I think, or we probably can do that in the activity timeline. So it's a fine balancing act. I'm going to decline the offer, so that's going to bring the morale of the department down, but it's going to boost Ilot's experience, and so therefore his R&D, and we're just going to have to try and make up the morale later on in the activity timeline. So already, you know, 2 episodes in, and we're seeing a lot of that, you know, compromising what we're having to do now with these department events adds a lot more spice to it. There's a lot more jeopardy with, you know, day-to-day, episode-to-episode decisions I'm making about the departments and about R&D, which I really, really like. It keeps me on my toes, keeps me busy at the start of the episodes, obviously with the admin as well, and hopefully it's something you guys are interested in looking at, obviously, as we're trying to best manage this situation and build up our team over the, obviously, the coming episodes and coming season. But there is at least one positive thing, that both our air upgrades have come through, so we've got some extra front downforce and rear downforce minor upgrades, so not world-changing, but it's still nice to see that we finally have an upgrade coming on the car, because that chassis one was, I think, the first one we upgraded, maybe, and it failed, so good to see the 2 downforce upgrades come in time, to be fair, for some good races. Spain and then Monaco is actually now the 3rd race of this series because of those missing tracks, so it's good to have those upgrades come in. But we now go to quick practice once again. I'm going to be showing you guys some, you know, sped up version of quick practice in probably, you know, a couple of these first episodes, and maybe the whole season if you guys are interested in that, but then maybe try and phase them out, because obviously after a while it may just become a bit of a novelty and I can do them in the background and not actually have them in the video, and I kind of waste your time. But right now I just want to show you guys that process, because it's very, very new to us, obviously. It's only the second time we've had to do these mini games, and, you know, it's a very interesting, you know, little game to play, because you sometimes really want to risk it with 50% success ones, and sometimes they go through just like that, completed. So 2 boosters on the aero side there with that practice task we took, and then you've got, you know, ones where it may fail, come back negative, and you have to try again, just like that one. Program failed, so we have to go again. We can either retry it and just try our luck. It's basically the flip of the coin, 50-50, so we're going to go for it and see if it comes through, and it does this time. But I know you can get very unlucky. You could get 2 in a row where it comes back negative. It's not guaranteed that you're going to get it on 50-50. So yeah, it's I really like the fact they brought this in. It's a lot better than just doing the simulation, you know, clicking one button and getting a random amount of R&D. This at least gives you something to do, gives you a bit more sense of you're actually choosing to do something in practice and you're deciding what to go for. So we earn a nice 450 R&D there. Ilot, not as much as us, obviously, but a little bit there. Hopefully, as he grows and maybe we upgrade our personnel down the line, he can earn more R&D. But we've got those boosters coming in, so a few more discounts on things like the engine side. 5%, I think that was, on the engine upgrade. So we might need to look into an engine upgrade soon, since it's so discounted, basically. But some nice upgrades on the drag reduction side and also the rear wing, especially so that's all good, because obviously we're going to focus on aero, trying to reduce the drag and increase the downforce. But despite our 2 minor upgrades going into the race weekend and the business end on Saturday in qualifying, we have actually plateaued a bit in comparison to our rivals. Alfa Romeo have actually caught up to us and now level with us on the R&D chart there, and all our other rivals that we're trying to chase essentially this season, the midfield, Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren, Alpine, AlphaTauri, they've all made a step up that's larger than us, so I suspect some major upgrades. So we may actually be on the back foot a little bit and actually have a little bit less performance around here than we did at Bahrain. And of course, as I always say, sometimes, even on the game, like in real life, you sometimes just get a bit of rub of the green sometimes. Bahrain, we know the one stop is very powerful. It's the first episode, the first race, beginner's luck, I feel, as well. So maybe this episode, it might be a bit of a reaffirmation of where we truly are in terms of our pace, because also I'm not too sure on the strategy. We may be on the same strategy now as everyone else, and so we can't do a clever, you know, one less stop strategy. We may kind of, you know, it will have to be pretty much where the car is rather than where we can place the car and defend successfully. But into Q1 now, trying to find the groove. Obviously, only the second race now in this car, so it's going to take a couple, just like they do in real life, you know, in a new team, get a couple of races under our belt to get fully comfortable with the car. But as I've said before, because the handling is kind of an evolution from last year with the difference of the tyres and the curbs being the main factor, you know, it does feel very natural and flowing, and already feeling more comfy than I did at the start of Bahrain, for example. But still trying to find the edge, obviously, of the grip and the track limits there as we go a little bit wide, having to lift off a tiny bit, probably lose some time really on the edge there, and then taking the grass a little bit too much on the right, sends the rear into a snap. We try and hold it and power out of it, and it just doesn't work for us, and the car snaps on me so quickly. And with the new damage model, slightly a bit more sensitive, I feel, in the simulation for sure. The left front's off. I mean, I thought maybe we could have just held that, but we just came in with so much speed. The front wing came off, and then that kind of sheared the tyre. I think the front wing actually broke into the tyre basically and broke that off, which is definitely something I've noticed, I think, from the preview builds and what we've seen so far, that now if the front wing falls off and hits other parts of the car, it can damage that subsequently like it would in real life. And so we are out of the first part of qualifying here. Obviously, we didn't make it through into Q2 either in Bahrain, but I don't know, I had a kind of better feeling that maybe there's a slight chance we can do it here at Spain. Historically, I have gone better at Spain than Bahrain, so there may have been a chance, but in the end, we're not going to get that chance to even try it, as we bin it on the second lap. And so that kind of just shows maybe, you know, a bit of a reality check, because the car bites back a little bit and we come and crash back down to earth in terms of where we are. It is what it is. We go again. We go to the race on Sunday. That's where the points are released. And well, I don't know if we can get points this time round compared to Bahrain. We're a lot lower and further back, but you got to try. Let's see what we can do on the strategy maybe as well. Let's go to Sunday.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the rundown into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez, and Norris, Leclerc, Stroll, Sainz, and Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, and Raikkonen, Russell, Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, and Sebastian Vettel. They've taken a grid penalty. Mazepin, the owner driver, Latifi, and Callum Islet. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
So race strategy-wise, actually, we may have another repeat of trying to do a one-stop. The only difference, though, is because we're so further back, even if we do jump some people with the one less stop, we may be in a worse position compared to Bahrain now to capitalise on that. So that makes it even more annoying in a way of bidding it in quali, because we would have maybe had another good chance to try something clever with the one-stop, starting on mediums, going to hard. We will do that still, but yeah, the effect of it may be less. Fuel-wise, I think we were really fine on fuel. We had no issues. Obviously, we had a safety car to help us out at Bahrain, but I'm not too sure. I think one of these races, maybe next time at Monaco, where track position's king, we may try and risk it with some low fuel. But at the moment, I'm just not 100% sure, to be honest, on how the fuel works now with the lack of rich mix, and, you know, is there, you know, time to be gained by really risking it and going low fuel, and, you know, how do you go about really effectively saving fuel later if you go too low? We're going to have to maybe test that out at some point in the career in a future episode, but right now, I'm going to play play it safe still, only early days, don't want to risk it too much at this stage of the season early doors. But it's time to get into the race then, our second ever on this game and in this career mode as we go to 5 red lights to the Spanish Grand Prix from P20 on the grid. Plenty of time to make up, and it's actually a horrendous start for us. So much wheel spin that Nicholas Latifi gets us in the Williams car. We've had a mare, the exact opposite of what we needed. We're going to try and dive down the inside, but the two Ascars side by side, Mazepin and Schumacher on the right there, couldn't quite get the nose in, and now we go wide still on the outside of Latifi, and Ilot's now on the inside, makes some contact with our teammate. It's really not been the start we needed and wanted at all. The two Ascars still squabbling, Ilot's still there on the inside. Good to see he's been a bit aggressive at least and gotten Latifi at the start, and now we get bunched up a little bit too much behind the Russian of Mazepin. We go around the outside of him though on the exit using a bit of ERS. Can we still hang this round the outside of the high speed? Left, right, up the hill, oh so close to the gravel, taking all the escape road there to try and help us and right in the curb a bit as well. And we get the move finally. We're up into P19, but very much not the start we were looking for there, but it's the start we got nonetheless. A lot of wheel spin there. It was very surprising. It just kept spinning in like the second, third and fourth gear pretty much. And then also even worse, we dipped a tyre nearly into the gravel through on the exit of turn 2, so that didn't help us out either. And now we're now chasing after Schumacher, recomposing a bit and trying to settle down this race, but we've got a long afternoon ahead of us now pretty much because, you know, the first lap, you know, it's not won or lost in the first lap, but you can gain a decent amount sometimes, and we definitely did not. We did the opposite of that, so we need to go again and do it now properly. And whilst I've been talking about that, also you may have seen at the end of lap 1 onto 2, Callum Ilott, he's in for an early pit stop, so I wonder if he got damage making contact with myself or Latifi. Obviously simulation damage, more sensitive on the barge board and the end plates, maybe some damage there, so we're gonna have to watch out for that. Unfortunate for our teammate early doors, so it really is been a very tough start to the entire race for the whole AARAVA racing team, not just myself. But can we now make amends here as we try and chase after Schumacher? DRS enabled this lap. We don't need any DRS right now, just pure slipstream here. Bit of ERS usage on the exit, the last corner, and now we go to the inside. Bit of contact made as Schumacher gives us a good old squeeze to defend the position, but we're going to get through to the inside, and we're up into P18 then, and we can chase after Giovinazzi and Russell. You know, ideally, you know, Russell again, like Bahrain's done really well. He's ahead of an Alfa Romeo when the Williams is obviously behind the Alpha and ourselves in the R&D chart, so showing again the AI making the difference there. But on paper, I was going to say we should really be chasing after and catching these both and overtaking them. So then it's a case of can we then chase after the rest of the pack, because by that point we'll be up into what was that? Well, 16 then. That's effectively where we were qualifying in Bahrain and where I probably thought we were going to qualify here at Spain. So that will be the real test then of, you know, where we stand with those other AI teams making upgrades, of course, and we may fall down the order, because if you're not going forwards in Formula 1, you're going backwards pretty much. But as we get on to lap number 6 then, 3 laps and still trying to close the gap half a second. We cut away though to a shot of Callum Ilott, and he's going slow, and there's some smoke coming out of the back of his car, and that's him over. I think he's going to park up. Yes, he is. And so it really has been a dismal start to this entire race. Us, you know, having the slow one, and then Ilott first making contact, and then bless him, he already had a horrendous race ahead of him, having to pit early for maybe some damage that he maybe got on me or the TV, but now he's just flat out retired then with an issue to his engine. That's so early doors. That's got to be a little bit concerning for us that he's had an engine failure already, and so we may need to start looking to durability upgrades if that's going to be a pattern that our AI teammate's going to constantly be retiring. And to be fair, earlier in this stint, my engineer did mention something about a little bit of wear. There's nothing on the right hand side on the heads-up display to indicate the engine is really worn, but maybe on this year's game they've increased the wear rate of the component, so that's why Ilott's had an issue straight away. And so if so, we need to look into that and try and rectify it, maybe with a durability upgrade. We might be forced into one, but at the moment now trying to get the business on Giovinazzi. Some lovely bit of driving here, I do say so myself, taking the wider line, blipping the throttle, and then going down the inside with a bit of ERS to punch past him, and it's a lovely overtake. That was so satisfying, and it's only for 15th place at the moment as it it stands, but that's the way it is, isn't it, in my team at the beginning. We get so excited over lower positions with no points here, and we're slowly going to build up knowing that eventually we'll get to the top. But right now, we're fighting for these positions, and we're fighting tooth and nail and getting pretty damn excited about it. We're up into P12. The first guys have made their pit stops now, the top 10 runners, the guys doing the 2 stops. So like Bahrain, this is our chance to maybe do something clever, try and hold up some quicker cars. Ricciardo once again finds himself behind us. He's probably sick of it from Bahrain, but as Sakir, he got past us in the end, and I suspect he is going to do the same as he goes for a little move on the outside. Maybe we're defensive, and we're oh so close, and we just run him out of road, and we're able to maintain the position on the McLaren. So yet again, Rick Bobby may be getting quite annoyed with us. We now go for the move on Russell, and we're going to get Lando Norris as well through into turn 1. That was oh so close. 3 wide between myself and the 2 Brits. Actually, 3 of us Brits. Very nice, actually. Camera shot. That would have been on the off-board there, but we got Russell, and we're up into P10 as it stands. But the important thing is we got Russell. That's the man we're actually fighting for race position rather than Norris and Ricciardo. We go a bit wide here, and on the exit I just decide, you know what, we just need to let him through basically because he is in a quicker car. The McLaren, there's no point fighting him too much. We do close up a bit as Norris goes a bit defensive. His AI slows up a bit on that racing line, I think because of where I was in comparison, but you can clearly see the lack of downforce compared to the McLaren. So as much as I would love to fight Ricciardo and Norris a bit more and try and maintain the position like they do in real life, you know, we're fighting Ricciardo now there, but I think eventually there's no point. But up ahead, yellow flags. Look at the minimap there. That dark blue dot, the AlphaTauri of Tsunoda, that is. He had a mistake there. I think that was an AI mistake. He kind of half spun into the last sector and lost some time as I kind of half spin and drift the car through the last corner. And that's going to be the nail in the coffin for Ricciardo to surely come through. We're deploying ERS, but like I said, there's only so much point of fighting it, and then it's going to be like real life where you have to accept that you're in a lower car and you're compromising your own race by fighting too much. So we let Ricciardo through eventually, and we're going to focus on Russell behind us and Tsunoda ahead 2.5. He definitely made a mistake, but the AlphaTauri is just a bit too quick for us right now around Spain, so I can't catch him up. Leclerc goes down my inside. I kind of let him through basically and wave him by like we did with Lando Norris. I'm going to tuck in behind and go down to P13 then, but like with Norris, because I was too close to him, he goes for a defensive line, the AI does, so Leclerc slows up a bit and loses me a little bit of time there to George Russell, so I was a bit annoyed there because we get a wash of dirty air and understeer and have to go a little bit wide and lift off, but the tyre wear is also kicking in. 48% on the left front. I think it's time to come in onto lap 13 for a set of hard tyres that will take us through to the end of the Grand Prix. So I think that was a decent stint. I enjoyed the battles with Giovinazzi, and good we got Russell, so pretty much we're racing them, maybe looking to get Tsunoda, but I don't know if it was the tyre wear or what, but we just couldn't close up once he had that mistake and he kind of maintained that 2.5 second gap. So let's see, because yeah, as I've said, I think the tyre wear on this year's game is going to be a bigger factor. I actually may look to do an upgrade on the tyre wear soon, within the first 5 episodes maybe, but at the moment, you know, I felt we handled it quite well at Bahrain, but at the end of the stint it is getting a little bit difficult, I will admit, compared to F1 2020. There's definitely some room to grow for me personally in terms of dealing with the tyre wear and keeping the pace at a decent level, because we lost a bit of time to Tsunoda at the end of that stint. So let's see what we'll do now on fresh hard tyres. Obviously we maintain the position on George Russell, but let's see what we can do compared to others. Latifi's in, Giovinazzi, Schumacher there as well on the left hand side, and on the mini map on the bottom left, and we're past them. Tsunoda though looks like he's 6.7 ahead of us. I don't know where that's come from, but Tsunoda absolutely on fire, and maybe showing the AlphaTauri very much is a much better car than ours at the moment, or around this circuit specifically, because we were so close to Tsunoda, and we beat him at Bahrain, but we were close to him in qualifying, so I don't know where that performance has come from. To be fair, Pierre Gasly is showing that the AlphaTauri is a very good car around this circuit, because lap 22 then, and Bottas is in first place, Hamilton second, Verstappen third, but Gasly's in P4. Now he's doing a one-stop like the rest of us, and he's flying super high, along with Fernando Alonso, both him and Alonso on the hards, going for the one-stop. Obviously, the 2 Red Bulls and Mercedes cars doing the 2-stop, along with McLaren, I think, with Ricciardo and Norris, and then Ocon is another car doing a one-stop ahead of the Ferrari of Leclerc, who is on a 2-stop, I believe, on medium tyres. Also, by the way, hope you guys are enjoying this tower on the left-hand side, a new feature on F1 2021 game with the replay cameras, at least in career mode. We now finally get this tower power like everyone had on online last year. So let me know, guys, below if you like having that on the replay cameras in this kind of situation where we're focused on AI and if it's useful. Obviously, when we're focusing on ourselves, it may be a bit distracting, but let me know if you guys like it, because it's definitely making my life a little bit easier to tell you guys the pecking order. And as you can see, now Gasly and Fernando Alonso, they're both backing up into the two McLarens and the Ferrari there, so they're becoming a bit of a bottleneck. But Gasly and Alonso, they're in a huge position to get like a top 5 with that one stop, so that's just me kicking myself even more, knowing that if we qualified higher, got a good start, we could have been where, you know, not where Gasly was, but we could have been somewhere where we could have got points once again in this race, maybe, because the one stop is so well at jumping you. The only difference is, though, to be fair, I think our car definitely feels worse around Spain than Bahrain, so maybe it would have been difficult to keep them behind like we did at Bahrain in the case of Leclerc. And you can see our car's worse as well, because Russell's actually keeping up with me. I did actually have a 1.5 second gap to him, but over the last couple of laps, he's eroded that, and we've kind of lost a little bit of momentum, and he's got a bit from himself, and he's got DRS now. We're deploying ERS a lot way down that straight. Russell goes to the move. We go defensive to the inside to try and maintain the position versus the Williams car, side by side through turn 2, giving him the room. They're having the inside racing line and maintaining P16 for now, but it's been a very mundane second stint, I've got to say, ever since that pit stop, really. You know, lap 27 already, so we've skipped through a lot of this race, really, and nothing has really happened for us. It's been a very, very slow burner, just kind of keeping Russell behind, keeping at bay. Sonoda, 15 seconds ahead of us. I don't know what the AlphaTauri's on today, but we had no chance to close up to him, and instead, yeah, we're just constantly looking behind us at George Russell. Now we look at the Alfa Romeo! Oh, Giovinazzi spun into turn 2, he's hit that, and Bottas! Bottas, the race leader, he's out! Bottas has crashed into the house of Mick Schumacher and Giovinazzi, and he's out the Grand Prix, the full course safety cars. I'm not surprised for this one compared to Bahrain. This definitely deserved a safety car, because Giovinazzi just spun it spectacularly into turns 1 and 2, and it's just from tyre wear. Look at... Oh, did you hear that? The throttle. He just got on throttle way too much. The tyre wear was a lot, and he just span. Schumacher, unfortunately, just hit him. He was way too close. That's amazing, though. Great to see a massive AI mistake with tyre wear involved like that, but such a shame for Bottas then. So for the second race in a row, Bottas goes from the lead of the Grand Prix to not. This time, though, he's completely out of it then, and so it might be one of the Red Bulls or Hamilton leading the way. But we got the full course safety car out, and so under the safety car, I thought, why don't we pit? We've got a lot of tyre wear. The reason why Russell was catching me and putting me under pressure was because I felt like the tyre wear was hitting me a bit too much on the hard compound. So we're going to come in for a set of soft tyres, new ones that we've got. Why don't we try it? Because we're only going to lose, I think we're only going to lose 2 positions to P18. So you may as well try it then on the restart to gain the 2 positions off the restart of the safety car, then go on, push on. So we come in then for the soft compound tyre. Giovinazzi with a 5 second as well, playing into that maybe on the restart. He can't put up much of a fight, really. 5 seconds slam dunk. He's going to be last place probably, Gio. But we come out the pit lane behind Verstappen, though. And Hamilton, they've lapped us under the safety car. And I don't believe on the F1 game yet there is any mechanic to unlap yourself. So, oh no. I think we have just really misjudged this now. I can't overtake them. It just says catch the safety car. Lance Stroll's out the session. There's another one out. It's only 18 runners, but I can now not unlap myself. I'm here 3rd place on the road. We're 17th, but I'm the 3rd car in this train. Latifi's also the 4th car in this train. He didn't even pit. That's just how slow he was. But we've both been lapped, and because we've been lapped and caught under the safety car, I am just stuck here. So here we are then. Safety cars coming in. We're watching Verstappen lead the way in 1st place. Hamilton 2nd, but we are in 16th place. But we're a lap down. That's our race over. We've had a calamity. So the plan is over, but we're watching with a bucket of popcorn. Hamilton go down the inside and try and get 1st place from Verstappen. Gasly's in 3rd. We let him through. We're under blue flags. We have to. Pierre Gasly, he's in 3rd place on a podium position in the AlphaTauri. That's how great his one one-stops worked out. Alonso P4. What a madness for the Spaniard and the Frenchman with the one-stop. Verstappen defends successfully and maintains first place. Verstappen's going to lead this way for the kind of a sprint race for 2 laps here, but we're just under constant blue flag, so I'm going to get a penalty if I don't let them through within 3 corners, so I have to constantly let them through to the point where here we are then, lap 32, I'm battling George Russell, but I'm battling him to unlap myself. That is just how tragic this race has gotten. So this really is a crash down to reality and down to earth and a humbling from Bahrain. But I'm actually a little bit annoyed. That's really annoying. That's not a thing. They need to have a mechanic that lets you unlap yourself like they do in real life, because that can happen quite often if you're in my team in a slow car or in one of the bottom teams, and that's so frustrating because that's pretty much my race over. So we just finish up in P16 then behind Giovinazzi and Russell instead. It won't matter obviously in the grand scheme of things, let's be real, you know, 16th to 14th is still 0.0 points, so if we're being real, it's not massive, but it's still frustrating we didn't get a chance to maybe gain some positions and get close to points. But Gasly and Alonso, what a drive from them. 3rd place
Another
and 4th.
Spanish Grand Prix is over, and what a special race it was. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
I mean, to be fair to Pierre Gasly and AlphaTauri, I mean, he got an early podium in real life in 2021, so, you know, it's quite realistic in a way, but Verstappen then wins that one and gets ahead of Hamilton, and it was real close. You know, Hamilton had a good dive bomb and nearly took the lead, so good defensive work from Verstappen's AI there to maintain the lead and the win for Red Bull. But Gasly and Alonso, mega one-stop from them. Ocon got some points in P9. You know, we are kind of, you know, where was Tsunoda? In the end, Tsunoda's P13, so to be fair, I don't know. You know, with the safety car, you know, we could have done something maybe, but Russell didn't jump Tsunoda, so I don't know. I mean, it's a big if, but it's a massive shame. It was really quite frustrating seeing that. You know, I had literally no inkling. I was coming out of the pit lane unaware that I was going to get lapped and wouldn't be able to unlap myself. So we kind of got, you know, the chance to fight for maybe just some positions for pride, maybe 1 point, you never know, was taken out of our hands, but it doesn't matter. 0 points, 0 points. It is what it is. I lot out of the race. It is a tough second race, but a very, very eventful one. And to be honest, I love the fact that it's still Gio span it with the tyre wear. That's great, and that's good stuff for the long term of this game, to see that AI will be making big mistakes like that, like they can do in real life. Obviously, drivers can just drop it with some tyre wear sometimes, and obviously spice things up at the front with Bottas being taken out, and that 1-2 for Mercedes becoming Verstappen winning the Grand Prix in the end. So if you guys did enjoy this episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for daily My Team career mode at the moment, guys. Till the next one, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.